My grandfather used to say, "Hope springs eternal." And I think that's true.
Hope is about the possibility of a better future in a really difficult situation.
Is positivity and hope the same thing? I would say they kind of are. So we don't spend a lot of time talking about hope versus hopelessness. We just be positive, and the hope comes from that.
Do you think you need a haircut?
No.
You happy?
Yeah.
Good.
He has vascular dementia. He speaks in very quiet whispers.
And did you have a shave today? Yeah, you did, I think.
Wow.
No, I mean, all he does is mumble, so I find it hard to find hope in that he would give me a good conversation the next day. I just have to be hopeful that I might get a few words that I could understand.
There, we'll just push you in over in this side right here. Well, he had a stroke, a massive stroke.
Oh, there was a bag.
When he tells you something, maybe 2 or 3 words will be clear, the rest of it will be all babbling.
Do you recall where you went? And I think she's had a series of these TIAs. Now she has dementia. Well, you come down, you have tea with her, and you chat about whatever imaginary thing is going through her mind at that time. And like sometimes we'll come down and she will discuss my brother. Well, I'm an only child.
So are you warm enough? Oh, your hands are freezing. Do you want your Afghan? Yes? Okay, I'll go get it. She only catches every other word. She's reading lips as well as trying to process it. So the processing, the equipment is slowed down, right?
She gets a little weaker every day.
Yeah, we're going to take you to your room for a little bit.
You just have to accept the situation the way it is. And I think it'd be very frustrating if you kept hoping that somehow it's going to revert to where Mom was like she was, 10 years ago.
What we want is what we can't have. So you have to make the best of this. So you can either wallow in it or get on with it.
When I go for groceries now, or I don't have to buy as many, but I always had Dawn to carry it in, I think. And when the dandelions are growing, I look out and I think, the guy that dug up the dandelions moved out. So, there are things that make your life change.
You got to face reality. She's never getting better. And you have to be accepting of it. You can't deny it because it's a reality. You have to face reality. And then the thing is, you have to have a positive attitude.
Part of Mom's, her health and a lot of things that are going on it's out of our control. At least we believe that. And we believe that it's whatever God's will is, that's what's going to happen.
And I always hope that he'll get better so we can play cards again and maybe go on a bus tour or not. But I'm realistic enough to know that that's probably not going to happen.
The way that he conducted himself and lived his life was, the lessons that we learned from Matt are what's sort of carried the day through these last few months. He was not a hopeless guy. Tend to your affairs, get on with it, do it. You don't stand around and worry about it. Do what you can to make it better. So that's kind of what we've done. We're motoring along here now.
We always tell our family members, it doesn't matter what happens tomorrow or what happened yesterday. It's the joy that you get from today. And those are the things that you pay attention to. That's what gives you hope that maybe the next day will be good. Maybe it won't be, but at least I had today.
It's nice to say, "Hi, how are you doing?" And she kind of lifts her head up and looks at you and this big smile on her face. It's kind of nice to see. It makes me very hopeful for her.
If you give her time to answer, a lot of times she will. For example, the other night I said, "Good night," I love you, Mom. And then I just wait. And then, you know, pretty soon, I love you too.
One day I was bringing Mother downstairs, and I always go, what did you do this morning? And whatever she tells me. Well, this time I asked her, what did you do this morning? And she looked very stern. She says, I've been cleaning up after your mess. Okay. What was the mess, Mother? Well, I'm not, then it kind of, but so you just never know.
He doesn't, say very much now, but he did the other day. He was reaching out for my arm, and if I touch his arm, sometimes hold his hand, he will give you some response, by squeezing it or whatnot.
Touch can be extremely, extremely important. It's one of those basic forms of communication, and it's a form of comfort as well. Not just for the person with dementia, but also for the family caregiver. It's a connection.
He likes to get his little hug and a little kiss on his cheek, and it helps me too, because then I know that if he's responding positively, that it makes him feel better. So it makes me feel better.
Every now and then, I'll just give your hand a squeeze. I got a little foot rub out of him the other day. I was sitting beside him with my legs crossed, and he just reached out and he grabbed my foot and he started to massage my foot. And I thought, well, that's all right. Any little thing that shows that he's still in there gives you hope.
We encourage family members, especially when the verbal communication is gone, that there's other ways to communicate. You might want to give a hand massage, or, it's very dry in the facility, so rubbing lotion on people, or even brushing hair, or holding a hand, or a rub on the shoulder, or a hug, any of those kinds of things. And you can see the smile that comes on people's faces, and you've made a connection then.
Yeah. Let's go to supper, all right? For hope, for me, is the biggest thing is my faith, right? Knowing that Mom, when she passes away, she's going to have, eternal life, and I believe that she's going to be cradled in the arms of Jesus.
With the faith comes an acceptance of the way things are, and the fact that when I get so stressed out or I get worried, particularly when Mom gets ill, I get worried, then I think, no, it's up to God. I just turn it over to God.
Other people maybe that don't have a strong faith base may have a spiritual connection. Everyone has something a little bit different that gives them that hope.
We've had a lot of families tell us that it wasn't so much faith, but their belief in nature, and they could see new spring coming, new growth, and sort of that belief that new things can happen.
Then my sister and I, we text. And so, of course, at supper time, she'll text and say, oh, won't open her mouth for the carrots, but she sure opened her mouth for the dessert.
I think knowing that there are others there that do come, it is certainly, it's a comfort.
When you have a connection with the rest of your family, then the burden that you have isn't as deep. And you can share the problems, you can share the concerns, and you can share the joys, with your brother, your sister.
Every visit is followed up with a text message to the crew, so everybody knows what's going on, or if the visit was a success, or if my dad was in a coma. It was sleeping. Like he's in one of those deep sleeps, and there's no point in anybody coming here today because he is not in the room.
Just to share, just to get things off your chest. Sometimes you just need to vent. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe the visit wasn't very good today, and maybe you're a little depressed about that. And so if you can speak to another family member, they give you hope that, don't worry, tomorrow might be a better day.
We hope together, but we despair in isolation. Hope and connection can be a really important part of just connecting in some way with your family or friend that's in the long-term care setting. But the family caregivers also talked about developing new connections with other residents that are there, and that gives them hope as well, and other family members that are coming, and also with staff. Staff become part of that family.
I'm basically a registered nurse, and the nurse in me wants to help. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing, is helping him. I feel sadder when I go home to a very quiet place and listen to the news and go out for my walk and come back and it's very deathly quiet. Okay, where you go? So I kind of look forward to coming here and being of help to him. I want to help him. A lot of people are concerned about me. Gus's children worry about me. My children worry about me. How are you doing, Mom? Are you okay? And my friends, and I say, yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. I don't feel any burnout.
I feel guilty on the days when I don't come or can't come, but there's always a good reason why. I'm not deliberately staying away.
If you start to get the guilt because you're not here, 8 hours a day, it's going to be very difficult on you. And if you try to be here 8 hours a day or whatever it might be, it will destroy your own life. If you have a family and that, because when you're here, you're not, with your own family and functioning with them and doing things that you normally do.
Balance between your life here and your life in the community is very important. We see a lot of caregiver burnout. There's people that come every single day, 7 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day. They never take a vacation. They never go anywhere. They don't participate in their old activities. And we see sometimes people will get burnt out. They'll end up in hospital. And some actually have passed away before their loved ones have.
That I find hard. Sometimes she doesn't want me to leave, and I know it must be hard. But I have commitments, and I'm working, and there's always things going on. There's that balance between looking after your loved one and trying to do some things in your own life, right?
My brother and sister and I, we will all have been here at least once during the week, and my mom probably twice. And the visits last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. And the rest of the time, we have to go back and get on with our life. And we, as I said earlier, we know that the cognizant Don Dobie would have approved of that because you've got things you have to do. You can't come here and just sit for extended periods every day.
And it's okay to take a break. You don't have to come every single day. You don't have to be here 14 hours a day. That's why we're here, to alleviate that burden. So if they can recharge their batteries a little bit, it's much easier for them to see light at the end of the tunnel.
So what do you do this morning?
Hope is a choice. You can choose to be pessimistic and you can allow circumstances to weigh you down. But if you can just arrive at that point in time to say, I choose not to let this control me. I choose not to let my circumstances overwhelm me. I am going to start to look for that silver cloud and that lining in the cloud. Then I can go forward and I can start to rekindle that hope in me and in people around me.
Years ago, I read a book, The Power of Positive Thinking, where Dr. Norman Vincent Peale asked this gentleman, why are you always so happy? And the gentleman said, well, in the morning, I have two choices. And when I wake up, I can choose to be happy or I can choose to be unhappy. He said, I choose to be happy.
I do feel discouraged sometimes, but then I get over it as quickly as possible. I just say, smarten up, Karen. That's all it takes. Enough of this nonsense. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You're able to walk around and talk and do things. This man cannot do these things. Just be grateful that you can.
Just to take one day at a time and not be too focused on the future. You can get caught up in that, and it's what happens at the moment that's important. And memory's not such a big deal. If they don't remember tomorrow, that's okay. At least they had fun today. Maybe we should all live a little bit like that.